And through the years, he just always says, I've always known where he was, he's always known where I was. There have been no games being played, and I was pretty used to a lot of games. And I'm not talking about Scrabble.
Desi Arnaz didn't cheat on Lucille Ball, at least not in the way you've always heard. According to their daughter, Lucie, the real story is simultaneously more complicated and more strange than any affair could ever be. And it raises some genuinely uncomfortable questions about what Ball knew, what she accepted, and why she stayed as long as she did. The tabloids had been barking up the wrong tree for decades, and it took one remarkably candid interview in 2025 for the truth to finally surface. Today we're getting into all of it because, as it turns out, the rumors about Desi Arnaz were true, just not quite the way anyone expected. Speaking of things people didn't expect, if you grew up watching I Love Lucy, drop us a comment right now and tell us your all-time favorite moment from the show. We'll be reading them. How it began. The story starts in 1940 on the set of an RKO musical comedy called Too Many Girls. Lucille Ball was cast in the film, and the studio brought in Cuban bandleader Desi Arnaz. By the end of that year, the two had eloped. It was fast and impulsive, and it set in motion one of the most consequential partnerships in entertainment history. The early years were rough. Arnaz toured constantly with his band, while Ball was working her way through the Hollywood system, and the distance did damage. By 1944, just 4 years in, Ball had filed for divorce, citing his drinking and infidelity. They reconciled, but the same patterns kept resurfacing. What grew out of that reconciliation was a plan to work together. Ball had found real success on the radio with My Favorite Husband, and when CBS approached her with a television deal, she pushed hard for Arnaz to play her on-screen husband. The network was skeptical about presenting a mixed ethnicity couple, but Ball and Arnaz took the act on the road, played to live audiences, and proved the chemistry was undeniable. CBS eventually came around. I Love Lucy debuted in October 1951 and became the most watched show in the country before the first season was even over. Their daughter Lucie was born that same year. Their son, Desi Jr., arrived in early 1953, with Ball's real pregnancy playing out on screen in a way that had never been done before. For a window of time, the family looked exactly like the picture it was projecting. What the set knew.
There is something here that needs explaining.
What needs explaining?
What's all this nonsense about you dancing with Van Johnson?
It's not nonsense. I did dance with Van Johnson.
She's told so many of those wild stories, she's beginning to believe them herself.
Those who worked on I Love Lucy felt the undercurrent even when the set stayed professional. Writer Bob Weisskopf later recalled there were never any public confrontations between the stars, describing Arnaz as too well-mannered to air private grievances in front of the crew. But the awareness was always present. In 1955, the tabloid Confidential ran a story alleging that Arnaz was a serial philanderer who made use of what the article called Hollywood's best door-to-door dame services. It caused a stir. Ball's publicist, Charles Pomerantz, gave a vivid account of what happened when the piece arrived on set. He brought Ball an advanced copy. The crew froze. She disappeared into her dressing room, and nobody moved until she came back out, tossed the magazine to Arnaz, and said, "Oh hell, I could tell them worse than that." That line has never quite gone away. It implies that Ball wasn't reading anything new. Whatever she knew about her husband's behavior, she had already absorbed it, processed it, and filed it somewhere. Whether that represented genuine acceptance or a carefully maintained composure in front of witnesses is difficult to say. Arnaz reportedly told at least one friend that his outside arrangements were never romantic in any traditional sense. He was said to put it plainly. He didn't take other women out, he took out hookers. That framing was apparently something he held onto as a meaningful distinction, and it shaped how those close to him understood what was happening. Lucie sets the record straight.
And when they were on the set together, it was heaven. It was Camelot. Nobody's gotten that right yet, you know? It was beautiful on the set. Maybe the last couple weeks when they knew things were going to go to hell. But before that, they were always happy on the set, and they would tell you that. She said that many, many times. That was their absolute bliss.
In June 2025, Lucie Arnaz appeared on CBS Sunday Morning and addressed the rumors about her father more directly than she had before. Correspondent Mo Rocca asked about the long-standing talk. Her answer was clean and unsparing. Quote, "People say he had affairs. He never had an affair. He didn't even know these dames' names. They were hookers." That distinction reshapes the whole narrative. What Lucie was describing was not the classic Hollywood affair, no secret emotional entanglement, no rival for her mother's place in her father's life. When Rocca followed up by asking whether the relationships were transactional, Lucie confirmed that was exactly the word. She then went further. She said her mother understood it, and that understanding was part of why Ball stayed as long as she did. Quote, "He loved my mother. He loved his family. It was a very unique, weird problem to have," she said. She added that she herself could not have made the same choice her mother made, but that within the specific context of who they were and what they needed from each other, they held together as long as they could. This changes the emotional weight of the story. Affairs carry a particular kind of betrayal, intimacy, attachment, the possibility of losing someone to another person. What Lucie described was something more extreme in one way and arguably less threatening in another. Whether Ball actually found peace in that distinction or simply chose to live inside it is something only she could have said. Life at home.
I felt really sorry for my dad.
Even at that young age?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I think because I felt like he was the one that got ousted. We were still in the house. He had to leave, so maybe there's that.
Yeah.
And I felt like he got a lot of the blame. Even though I didn't understand the blame, I was too young to understand what it was all about. I didn't know, really. I knew that he had problems. I knew that he would, drink sometimes, but that really became worse when I was older, when I was like a teenager. But I felt bad for him.
Whatever the arrangement, daily life in the Arnaz household was not easy. Lucie has described her parents' home as marked by relentless fighting. Quote, "There was a lot of anger and screaming," she told Closer Weekly in 2018. She's been open about her father's alcoholism and said she felt genuine relief when her parents finally separated. No abuse, she's clarified, but hard enough. The show itself was what held the marriage structurally together for as long as it lasted. Lucie later wrote that her parents had wrapped all of their hopes and plans for a happy future into I Love Lucie. The sitcom was the shared mission. As long as it was thriving, they had a reason to keep showing up for each other. When it wound down, that common purpose went with it. Ball filed for divorce in 1960, and this time it was final. 2 decades, 2 children, and one of the most successful television productions in history, and it was over. After the credits.
And I remember when she told me she was going to get married again to Gary Morton, and I was on the phone with him, and he was being very brave and very positive and saying, honey, you got to give her support and you be nice to him, and he loves your mother. He was trying. And I was like, I'm never going to love him. I don't care what, I felt so bad for my father.
Ball married comedian Gary Morton in 1961. She also bought out Arnaz's share of Desilu and ran the company on her own, overseeing a period that included greenlighting Star Trek and Mission Impossible. Arnaz remarried in 1963 to a woman named Edith Hirsch. Both moved on and, by most accounts, maintained a real friendship in the years that followed. In a Barbara Walters interview, Ball reflected on the marriage with a resigned kind of clarity. She called Arnaz's behavior his problem, spoke with real pride about what they had built together, and described a man who seemed compelled to undo everything he created. Quote, "Everything he built, he had to break down," she said. When Arnaz was dying of lung cancer in 1986, Ball went to him. Their daughter described the final phone call. She held the phone to her father's ear as he lay in bed. Ball repeated the same words over and over. I love you, Desi, I love you." Lucie noted that each time Ball said it, the intonation was different, each one carrying something the others didn't. Whatever the marriage had cost them, that's how it ended. Now it's time to hear from you. Lucie Arnaz's candor about her parents raises questions about what a marriage can absorb and what it costs to hold one together. Drop your thoughts about that in the comments. Do you think Lucille Ball made the right call staying as long as she did?